In case you were unaware, a new Las Vegas police team is reinvestigating the passing of Tupac Shakur. Even the news wrote, new updates are happening in Tupac's murder case. Rappers in the industry from Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, and Diddy are all about to be arrested and questioned, as fans believe that Snoop is responsible for Tupac's death after new evidence was found. It begins with this interview making the feds wonder Snoop's involvement.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So
saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
As Snoop Dogg mentions that he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac and Suge Knight, but after some last-minute changes, he didn't go. This was likely due to Snoop, Tupac, and Suge Knight having an altercation just a day prior.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to, prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
With all of this occurring within 48 hours, the Tupac murder is making the police very suspicious that Snoop may have had a tip. 2 decades ago, Snoop Dogg was heavily tapped into the streets. Many speculate he could have received a tip that Tupac was going to be targeted on this night, so he avoided getting in that car. The feds then found another interview from Snoop where 2 days before Tupac died, Snoop Dogg felt like he hated him.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with it. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
All of this evidence would then be linked into a viral thread which relates to Tupac Shakur allegedly being a Fed, where Snoop Dogg got word of it, as one interview from an officer revealed Tupac was an industry plant with a job of stopping the beef between the red and blue street teams.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Mutulu Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
Obviously, the plan did not end up working, which then resulted in him suddenly passing away. It makes sense as to why Snoop wouldn't want to be near him in Las Vegas if he got word that Tupac was a Fed. However, those investigating the murder of Tupac also found a very interesting theory, that Tupac is still alive. After reading the evidence they found, it really makes you wonder, as in 2010, an interview from a rapper named Tretch really made things get weird. This interview in 2010 had Tretch revealing that Tupac and him were very close friends way back in the day. They even worked on a few albums together, but it's what he said at the end of the interview, where the cameraman forgot to stop recording, placing his camera onto the floor. You can hear the interviewer asking Tretch about Tupac, to which Tretch responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question.
Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man. We good.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Then suddenly, only 2 weeks later, a video would be released onto a news website showing a video of Tupac supposedly chilling in a parking lot inside of Cuba.
Zoom in. That's Pop, man. He went to outlaw and Reg from Holla Back. He's trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
In case you didn't know, that is what created the Tupac is alive in Cuba theory, and it's been the most popular theory ever since. However, now in 2025, it's not really seeming like a theory anymore. This is because Suge Knight agrees that Tupac is alive and well. He has said so in many interviews over the course of the last 2 decades now. One interview in particular, he mentions that Tupac was apparently doing fine in the hospital before his passing, stating, in quote, "I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can turn from doing well to doing so bad."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I would say this, Pac, you never know.
But what's weird about this is, according to police records, Tupac was supposedly in a coma when arriving to the hospital. So how in the world would he and Suge be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? It doesn't really seem to add up. However, when you go back 10 years, in a 2008 interview from Suge Knight, he said the exact same thing. He said that Tupac is alive and that he's well.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Suge Knight has stood on the theory that Tupac is alive ever since he apparently passed away. But what's scary is, after the 2008 interview, when Suge leaked that information, he almost lost his own life at a nightclub when a man used a firearm in his direction 6 times. Suge Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything. He immediately knew that it was due to him talking about Tupac in a public interview. But here's where it gets crazier. His own son, Suge Jr., made the exact same mistake. You see, in 2018, Suge Jr. took it to Instagram stating that Tupac was alive and that he was living in Malaysia. After Suge Jr. posted it, he then posted another photo showing a text conversation where someone messaged him, "You said too much, it's now time for you to go." This is when Suge Jr. would begin panicking, posting several photos of Tupac alongside modern-day celebrities, such as 50 Cent and Beyonce. He made it seem like someone was going after him for leaking all this info. On the photo of Tupac and Beyonce, he captioned it, "He never left us, but they'll be after me soon." While some believe it was a publicity stunt for Suge Jr. to gain social media clout, others believe that it was factual and that Suge Jr. would be the one to know more about the case than anyone else in the world, considering his father was at the scene of the crime and his father is the one and only Suge Knight. But now let's compare all of that to the police records of Tupac's death. You'll begin to notice the holes in the story as it begins on September 7th, 1996. Tupac was in Las Vegas with the head of his record label, Suge Knight. The two were off to the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match, but after it was over, they spotted an op in the lobby of the hotel.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keffe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keffe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Now, security would break up the altercation between Tupac, Suge, and the ops. This resulted in Tupac and Suge needing to go back to their hotel to change their clothing. They then went off to a club to party it up for the night, hopping into their black BMW, turning the car on, and cruising down Las Vegas. At around 11 p.m., the two would be stopped at a red light. While going to the club, things would go down right in the middle of the street as a fellow car would pull up beside them at the red light and begin talking.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keffe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
The aftermath of the incident was a mystery for 14 years. This was, however, until the police started to reopen the case and they found a concerning interview by a man named Keffe D. This was on none other than DJ Vlad's show. During the interview, it begins with the detailing moments that Keffe D lays out of finding Tupac and literally pulling up on him with firearms.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
Got to the light. We was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
However, it was then this moment when Keffe D revealed that Tupac was only targeted in this situation because he began reaching for a firearm when stopped at that red light with the opposing vehicle.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car...
That's what happened.
...started at Tupac and Suge.
This means that Tupac already knew something was about to go down in the street. Many were skeptical on whether Keffe D was telling the truth or not, so he would end up sharing a confirmation video. He would end up releasing his very own interrogation with the police on the night of the crime. This was never before seen until it was shared.
Lane starts. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out
in
of
the back seat or something.
Yeah. What do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre.
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window.
Even in the court files, the police would end up adding Keffe D's reaction to Tupac passing away, which shows his true emotions.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. I hate that happened. Probably to God. I feel they should, that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
Now this is where things get very odd. It would end up being revealed Keffe D wrote an entire book on being involved in Tupac's passing titled Compton Street Legend. He literally hints towards doing the crime and knowing those who did it. But why is he now just being arrested for it after a decade? Fans believe it's a cover-up that Tupac is still alive. With all the evidence shared in this video, they're getting too close to solving the puzzle, so throwing an elderly man inside a prison for the crime will make all the news slow down. You need to remember it's Hollywood at the end of the day. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors, but comment down below what you truly believe.